Eighth grade, this is some selected problems from your review for Unit 5 before you take the test, and also to help you complete the review. If you'll look on the first page at number 14, let's start with it. It says list all the angles congruent to angle 5. Well, the first one that can easily be spotted is angle 7 because they form an X. So angle 7 is congruent because those are vertical angles. And we're talking about angle 5 and angle 7. Then the next one could be angle 1 because angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are always congruent. And then another one could be angle 3 because they're on opposite sides of the transversal between the parallel lines. So then angle 3 because angle 3 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles. Because I was with you on that lesson and part of the next lesson, I'm working fewer problems on those pages so that we have more time on the ones where I was not with you. So on the second page, if you'll look at number 19, it has a triangle that looks like this. That box tells us that that's a right triangle, which doesn't affect anything except the angles of a triangle always add to 180. So then we have 65 plus this box means 90 degrees plus x equals 180. 65 plus 90 is 155. Subtract 155 from both sides. So x equals 25 degrees. On the same page, if you'll look at number 28, they think they're being all tricky and so on, but we're going to be smarter than they are, and we're not going to let them trick us on this. This angle is 48. This angle is 52. And they're asking for this angle. Well, first of all, let's find this angle. The angles of a triangle always add to 180. So we would do 48 degrees plus 52 degrees plus y equals 180. Well, 48 plus 52 is 100. Subtract 100 from both sides. So y would equal 80 degrees. Well, if this is 80 degrees, what do you know about the two angles that form a line? They're supplementary. So 80 degrees plus x, supplementary, the s looks like an 8. So that's 180 degrees. Subtract 80 from both sides. So x equals 100 degrees. On the next page, we need to look at number 32, which has kind of a bow tie looking thing. Most of my former students have an easier time with this if they will number the sides. So let's number the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 sides. To find the sum of the interior measures, you use the formula n minus 2 times 180, where n tells us the number of sides. In this case, we have 6 sides. Well, 6 minus 2 is 4 times 180, which would give us 720 degrees. On the same page, if you'll look at number 37, okay, number 37 says find the sum of the interior measures of an 18gon. We're still using the same formula. We're doing n minus 2 times 180. So that's 18 minus 2 times 180. So 16 times 180 degrees, which is 2,880 degrees, because it's still asking for the sum. Now, number 39, they ask for an additional question, or they ask for an additional, however I'm supposed to say that, because they want the measure of one interior angle. I'm sorry, that's supposed to be number 41. Because they're asking us for one interior angle of a 26gon. Well, we still use the same formula, n minus 2 times 180. Well, n is 26 minus 2, so that's 24 times 180, which is 4,000, oh, that's pitiful, 4,320 degrees. But this time we have to divide it by the 26 angles, because remember, in a regular polygon, all angles and all sides are congruent. So when you divide it, you get 166.2 degrees, because I believe they ask you to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, let's go on to the next page and look at number 50, which says A is 1 and B is 3. We're still using Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we're plugging in the letters they give us. So we have 1 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 1 squared is 1 plus 3 squared is 9 equals c squared. 10 equals c squared, but we don't want c squared, we want c, so we do the square root of both sides. So c is equal to 3.162, but it says round to the nearest tenth, so that would be 3.2, and the units used in this problem were meters. On number 51, they tell you that A is 2 and C is 5. So we're still using Pythagorean. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We still know that A is 2. We don't know what B squared is, but we know that C squared is 5. So 2 squared is 4 plus B squared equals 5 squared is 25. Subtract 4 from both sides. B squared equals 21. We don't want B squared, we want B, so we take the square root of both sides. So B is 4.5825, blah, blah, blah. And we need to round to the nearest tenth, because that's an 8, that has to become a 6. So side B is 4.6, and the units used in this problem were inches. Okay, at the bottom of the page, let's look at number 56. The instructions on that section say, determine whether each triangle with sides of given lengths is a right triangle. Justify your answer. Justifying your answer means show me your work on these. And it says you have 10 yards, 15 yards, and 20 yards. We're still using Pythagorean theorem, but you have to determine which side is the longest. Well, I'm picking 20 to be the longest because that number is the largest. So Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, we're not sure it's equal, but we're going to plug it in. So a is 10 squared, b is 15 squared, and we're not sure about this equal, but then we have 20 squared. 10 squared is 100, 15 squared is 225, and 20 squared is 400. 100 plus 225 is 325, and we're comparing that to 400. Well, that is not equal, therefore that is no, not a right triangle. Okay, on the next page, we need to look at number 65. which has a picture of a bear and a triangle, and I'm not going to try to draw the bear because I don't want you to laugh. This side is 20 yards, this side is 60 yards, and this is D, and here's the camp. And it asks you how far the bear is from the camp. And in the picture, they drew a right angle here. So they were dropping the hint that this is a right triangle, and so these are the legs. So using Pythagorean, 8 squared plus b squared equals c squared. One of the legs is 20. So we use 20 squared plus the other leg is d equals 60. Squared. 20 squared is 400 plus d squared equals 3,600. Subtract 400 from both sides, and d squared equals 3,200. But we don't want d, so we have to take the square root of d. Well, the square root of 3,200 is 56.5685, blah, blah, blah. But we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so the 6 causes it to round up. So our distance is 56.6 yards. On the last page, I'm going to work one problem using each method that we used. The first one I'm going to work with the graphing method, I'll call it, is number 70. And number 70 has the point -2, -1, and the point 0, 1. So we can draw a right angle that connects those points. Now the distance we're concerned about is the purple hypotenuse. This side is 2, this side is 2, and we're still using Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. One of the legs is 2, the other leg is 2, and we're looking for Mr. C. 2 squared is 4, plus 2 squared is 4, equals c squared. 4 plus 4 is 8, but I don't need the hypotenuse squared, I need the hypotenuse, so I would take the square root of both sides. The square root of 8 is 2.828, blah, blah, blah. We need to round to the nearest tenth, but 2 is less than 4, so then the hypotenuse is 2.8, and you will most always see them write units, because we don't know what the units are for that problem. And the last problem on the review that we need to look at is problem number 79. Number 79 has the point -3, 4, and 2, -3. And there's our point that we're looking for. And so we need to label our points x1, y1, x2, y2. And the distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So, plugging into the formula, we're going to do x2, which is 2, minus, because it's in the formula, x1 is -3 squared, plus y2 is -3, minus, because it's in the formula, and y1 is 4 squared. 2 minus a minus 3 is 5 squared, and -3 minus 4 is -7 squared. 5 squared is 25. -7 squared, be sure to put it in parentheses, or think of it as -7 times -7 is 49. So then 25 plus 49 is 74. Well, the square root of 74 on your calculator is 8.602, but when you round to the nearest tenth, that would be 8.6 units. Good luck, study hard, and do well on your test.